It's Thursday, September 20th, and it's got up to 90 degrees today. So I had to wait until twilight to be able to fly. It was just simply too hot. In fact, it was still 85 degrees when I made this flight. So this is a twilight flight down Dogtown Road to Egypt Pike, which is the T intersection at the end of Dogtown. And I'm flying, what you see here is the actual speed of the aircraft. I'm flying over the bridge, which I've posted videos of many times, and that's exactly 1/2 mile from my driveway. It's coming up right here. Here's the bridge. I try to walk to the bridge when I'm motivated and back, and I did that this morning. Makes a nice mile if I can get out there before it's too hot. A couple months from now we'll be saying before it's too cold, or when it warms up. So anyway, just flying straight on down Dogtown Road to the east. You can see that the crops are almost all ready for harvesting, and it won't be very many days now before the farmers are in the fields with their combines. My only neighbor to the east on Dogtown Road is this one coming up on the left. I don't know their names or anything about them whatsoever, but they are my only neighbor in 2 miles to the east. I do have more neighbors to the west, which I photographed yesterday. So anyway, here's their house. Nothing much going on. I take a little stop and zoom in. I really like the zoom feature. No wild parties going on there. Scoot on down the road. This is where I released the squirrels. I think there were 9 one year and 16 the next year that I trapped and released down the road, almost 2 miles from the farm. So I don't think there's any chance of their finding their way back, particularly when they have to cross a stream to do it. And we are now approaching Egypt Pike. There's a whole story about how that got its name from the 19th century, but we'll let that go. Anyway, what I want you to do is to look for road signs that say either Egypt Pike or Dogtown Road, and you won't find them, because in these parts we know where we are, so the assumption is everyone else should know where we are. No road signs for Dogtown or Egypt Pike at that intersection. Now this farm on the right used to be owned by Alan and Mary Tootle, who are second cousins of mine. Alan and my dad were first cousins. Their mothers were sisters, Ada and Verna. And that building on the right, well, you'll see it when we leave. Incidentally, there's a little boy on the left. He's got a yellow shirt on. He's peeing in the grass. So I get out of there not wanting to be a voyeur. Not in my nature to be a voyeur, even though I have a nice zoom lens. I didn't realize he was peeing until I watched the video. That building right there was a hangar. It's an airplane hangar that Alan used to fly. In fact, he and Mary flew all the way west to Fort Dodge, Iowa, to visit us in somewhere in the 1950s. So now I've made my destination. First time I've ever flown to Egypt Pike. So I'm now flying back home, and I edit out a little bit of the footage here to make the trip quicker. We're flying directly into the sunset. I made this about 7:30 at night. And here's a familiar stream. This is the stream that runs under the bridge. That's a half a mile east of my driveway. It's an interesting view of that same stream. It's like a gigantic amoeba in the field with its legs extended, or maybe a hydra. Okay, so we're coming in. I launched from beside the grain bin. One thing I've learned to do with this drone is to land manually. I always, without exception, land manually because the firmware has not been perfected to the point that it can land with precision where it took off. So I thank you for watching.